Hey, what's going on everybody? Gleez here, and in this video we're going to talk about wake-up situations, and we're going to talk about the options that both the offense and defense have. Now, in a wake-up situation, that refers to when an opponent is on the ground. The opponent that's on the ground is going to be in a defensive situation, and the person that is standing upright is going to be in the offensive situation. Now, each of these individuals have different options when it comes to wake up. And this video is part of the Injustice 2 Beginner's Guide that I wrote, and I'll actually link to it down in the description below if you want to check that out. Whole lot of great stuff about Injustice 2. So if you're trying to elevate your game and you're new to the game, or if you aren't new and just want to make sure all of your fundamental things are good to go, definitely check that out. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the defense. Now, what I'm going to actually do here is I'm going to set the AI, which is Catwoman. I'm going to set her to wake up, and the wake up is going to be Rising Claws. Now, each character has wake ups that are invincible. So as you see, I'm not able to attack the character as they use their invincible wake up. Catwoman has 2 invincible wake ups. She can actually use her trait, and that's also an invincible wake up. Now, some characters have better wake ups than others, and a lot of times, depending on the character, you can either stuff their wake up on the offense, or you can neutral jump and really punish them for it, but we'll get into the offensive options in a minute. So the first option is waking up when you're on defense. The second option would be to just block. So when someone knocks you on the ground, just block. All right, that's definitely underutilized, is the block. I would suggest blocking most times. When you start throwing out wake-ups, a lot of times you're going to get punished, especially when you're playing against a good player. Using the wake-up sparingly and surprising your opponent is the best way to go about it, in my opinion. So the other thing that you can do as the defensive player is to delay your wake-up, and you can tech roll. So we're going to look at both of these. So we're going to put delay get up on, so we're going to put it on long. All right, so as you see, watch, when I knock the opponent down, they're on the ground for a really long time. All right, so if I try to set up, I miss. All right, so the timing of my setups are going to be messed up. All right, and you can do that by holding the stance switch, or L2 if you're on PS4, or L trigger if you're on Xbox. So if I get a knockdown, I go for my setup. Oh, I missed it because they delayed their wake up. All right, what you also can do, which I'll show you here, you can put roll mode on. So as you see here, I'll go for my cross up, and they tech roll out of the way. So tech rolling is a good way to get out of different types of situations. Now, you can only tech roll attacks that aren't hard knockdowns. And each character has a few different hard knockdowns. A universal hard knockdown is down 3. So you'll see that the person can't tech roll. So if you end combos, you'll see some people, they might do like a combo and then, well, this isn't like optimized, but they may do a combo where they end it in that. And the reason why they do that, they're cutting short their damage in order to have a hard knockdown and keep the opponent close. All right, so that's a tactic that an offensive player may use. And know that these down 3s are not able to be tech rolled. They also usually will have a quicker rise, so you can see that the opponent rises pretty quickly. Even when you delay it, it's a little, or delay the wake up, it's even still a little bit faster. So it allows for better setups for your character, depending on the character. Sometimes it's not advantageous. Sometimes characters want to push their opponent away, so they might end a combo in something like this because they want space, all right, backdash. Now, this is, an advantageous situation, particularly in this matchup, but it all depends on the character. But just know that there are knockdowns that are hard knockdowns. You're not going to be able to tech roll out of them. Another option that the defensive person has is the backdash. So we're going to put wake up on, and we're going to dash backwards. All right, so the backdash is great because it has frames of invincibility. So as you see, I was able to catch the end of the backdash, all right, because I am using a forward advancing string. but the beginning of the backdash is invincible. So depending on the character that you're playing, if they like to do a lot of like standing stuff where they're not forward advancing, the backdash can be a great tool. Different characters have different backdashes. If you notice Green Lantern, his backdash kind of sucks. It's like slow and it doesn't move very far. His forward dash is great though. Catwoman, on the other hand, you can see hers is really good. Look how far she goes back, how fast it is. Alright, so each character is a little bit different, but you can backdash and you can incorporate both the tech roll and backdash in one if you really want to get away from your opponent. But again, know who you're playing and know your tendencies. It's a situation that you can definitely be punished for, so use it at your discretion. So another option that you have is a throw. So if someone's going to block on Wake Up, say they anticipate you waking up with a move and they're blocking, you can just throw them. Alright, remember, throws are unblockable. They would have to tech it, alright, to get out of it. So if there's a knockdown and I'm blocking, typically what I look for as an offensive player, I do this, like knockdown, I wait for the throw. And if there's a throw, I go to immediately tech. If there's not a throw, what I typically will do is a poke. So if I see that there's no Wake Up, right, no throw, boom, I'll probably poke. Alright, so that's like on the offensive end, but again, we'll get to the offensive end in a minute. The last thing that you can do here for the defense is to wake up with a meter burn back 3 or a meter burn forward 3. Again, it has armor. Alright, it has 1 hit of armor. Just make sure that the person isn't doing a string that hits extra meaty. What that means is, it sounds funny, right? Like it's extra meaty, like it just sounds weird. But an example would be something that is hitting or making contact as your character is getting up. So if they're in a string like this as you're getting up, typically you're not going to be able to get the back 3 out. But if you see that there's some type of distance, so if there's some type of distance and they come in from range, all right, sometimes you're going to be able to get that meter burn back 3 out in time, and you're going to catch them. So you want to make sure that you know your opponent, you know your spacing, you know what options your opponent has. If they have strings that hit really quick in succession, all right, Catwoman is a great example of that. Green Lantern, not so much. This possibly could get you out of armor. A poke into this can get you out of armor. But there's some characters that have strings that are just really quick, multiple hits. It'll knock you out of that armor. So you have to know your opponent, but that is another option that you have. Alright, so the last thing that we're going to take a look at is using interactables with meter burn on Wake Up to get yourself out of a bad situation. Alright, so as you see right there, we're able to meter burn the interactable, and you can do that with interactables where you jump out of the corner as well, or jump out of certain areas. Meter burn will add some armor to the interactable and allow you to get up safely and get out of that situation. Now, the armor can be broken with very quick successive hits. Alright, so just be aware of that moving forward. But that is another option, and the final option that we're going to go over on the defensive side. Alright, so we're going to go over the offensive options here as far as Wake Up goes. So we have the computer set to do the Invincible Wake Up. So as you see, as I go in, I'm not able to attack because the Wake Up's invincible. Now you can block, and then we can go in for a punish. Alright, so typically on Wake Up, if you think your opponent is going to wake up with their invincible special move, you're going to block and punish. Now, in your blocking state, if you notice that your opponent wakes up and blocks, you have the option to throw. Alright, if you notice in your blocking state that your opponent is also blocking, but you think they're going to press a button quickly after you see that they didn't wake up, you can meter burn your forward 3 or meter burn your back 3, depending on which one has a faster startup and which one's safe. Alright, it's character dependent, but you can do that as well. Another thing that you can do is you can go for certain setups depending on the character. Now, Green Lantern has a lot of setups that lead to a cross-up. And a cross-up is when you hit the opponent quickly from the opposite side. Basically, you flip their controls, and instead of holding, in this instance, left for Catwoman to block, she would have to hold right. And a lot of times you'll see them set it up with the forward 3. You'll also see them set it up with the neutral jump 3. And there are characters that do this. Supergirl has very good setups as well. You just have to know the characters and know your options. So knowing your character and knowing when you can basically go in for some type of cross-up is going to be advantageous. Study your character and realize if you have that ability. Alright, so for our next two options, what we're actually going to look at is one, stuffing the Wake Up. And we're going to stuff the Wake Up, depending on your character, with either your meter burn forward 3 or your meter burn back 3. And the armor adds a hit that you can absorb and still make contact with your opponent. As you see here, he's set to his Invincible Wake Up, which is his shield slam. Alright, so even with a nice long active frame meaty with back 1, I'm still not able to hit him. Now what we're going to do here is with the Green Lantern, we're actually going to meter burn back 3. Alright, this move creates a situation where it raises Green Lantern up and he can actually fly underneath. So what we're going to do is we're going to do meter burn back 3. And this is what it looks like. Alright, notice he absorbed the hit, and because he absorbed the hit, he does take the damage, but he's able to full combo punish. I suck with Green Lantern, but he's able to fully punish the combo, or with a combo I should say. Alright, so that's option 1 that we're going to look at, stuffing the Wake Up. Alright, so the next option that we're going to take a look at is the neutral jump on Wake Up. Now you have to be aware that if you do neutral jump, the opponent can possibly, down to you. Alright, there are options that they have, but this is a great way to bait out a low Wake Up or a mid or forward advancing Wake Up, something that doesn't hit high enough to knock you out of the sky. And we can punish. Alright, notice we're able to whiff punish. Right, so we go to boom, boom, boom. And I suck with Green Lantern, but you get the idea. Alright, so those are your options on Wake Up, both from the offensive and defensive side. Now there are specific types of setups that you may be able to use with different characters to kind of change these dynamics, but these are your basic universal tools and options from each the offensive and defensive side. So again, make sure you check out the full Injustice 2 beginner's guide on my site. I'll put a link again down in the description below. There will be more tutorial videos like this in the future. So if you enjoyed this, be sure to click that subscribe button and like button and comment down below and let me know what you think. So that's it. It's Gleez signing out. Thanks for checking in and continue to game strong.